Hello all. So today I am going to show you the Google Cloud IoT demo. So first we are going to see the overview, then the steps involved. Then I am going to explain you the source code for this demo, and then I am going to show you the demo. So let's look at the overview of Google Cloud IoT demo. So we are going to have two devices. Device 1 is Google Cloud Shell machine and device 2 is Raspberry Pi connected to servo motor. We are going to register both this device with Google Cloud IoT. After the registration of these devices is completed and all other prerequisite is completed, our first step is going to be where Google Cloud Shell machine sends the telemetry data or the temperature data to Google Cloud IoT Core using MQTT protocol, that is Message Queue Telemetry Transport Protocol. So this protocol is a lightweight publisher subscriber protocol and uses minimal resources, and that is the reason it is used in IoT, because in IoT we have a microcontroller devices connected, so we need something that is lightweight and uses minimal resources for the communication. So in this first step over here, from Google Cloud Shell machine, we are going to manually send the temperature data every time. But later on in my later videos, I am going to use a Raspberry Pi connected to the temperature sensor. So after the first step is completed over here, that is Google Cloud IoT performing the authentication of the device and all other steps, it is going to send the temperature data to Google Cloud PubSub's temperature topic. So Google Cloud PubSub is basically a publisher subscriber that allows services to communicate asynchronously. So over here, the publisher is the one that can send the message to the topic, and the subscriber with a subscription to that topic can consume the message from that topic. After this, we are going to have a Google Cloud function, and we are going to set the trigger for this Google Cloud function to the temperature topic, so that whenever there is any message or the data that is posted to this temperature topic, Google Cloud function is going to be activated. And once it is activated, it is going to check if the temperature that was sent is greater than 50, and if it is greater than 50, then it is going to send the command to Raspberry Pi device to turn on the fan. So fan in our case is going to be servo motor. There is one more thing that we can do, is we can write a subscriber that has the subscription to this temperature topic, and we can deploy this subscriber onto the Raspberry Pi. But we are not going to do that. We are going to use Google Cloud function to send command to the Raspberry Pi device. Let's look at the steps now. So the first step is going to be creating the temperature topic, and this we are going to do on the Google Cloud console. So what is topic? A topic is basically a named resource to which messages are sent by publishers. Then we are going to create the temperature subscription. And what is subscription? It is a named resource representing the stream of messages from a single specific topic to be delivered to the subscribing application. This is also going to happen on our Google Cloud console. Then we are going to create the virtual environment, as we need isolated Python environment. So we are going to create this virtual environment on our Google Cloud Shell machine, that is our device 1. Then we are going to install the required packages using pip install. Again, this will be on our device 1. Then we are going to generate the keys, that is we are going to create the public private keys and add the public keys to device authentication. We will need to do this later on when we create the device. So we are going to add the public key to the device authentication on Google Cloud. Then we are going to download the root certificate on our device 1. Then we create the temperature registry in Google Cloud console. So what is registry? Registry is a container of devices. The device registry is configured with one or more Cloud PubSub topics to which telemetry events are published for all the devices in that registry. So that is the registry. Then we are going to create the temperature sensor device. So what is a device? So device is basically a thing in the Internet of Things. Okay. So this again we are going to create on the Google Cloud console. Then we are going to repeat the step 3, 4, 6 for our device 2, that is Raspberry Pi, that is going to be a fan device. So we are going to create the temperature fan device, which is a Raspberry Pi attached to servo motor in this particular step. This we are going to do on Raspberry Pi, that is our device 2. Then we are going to create the Google Cloud function, that is this Google Cloud function. We are going to set the trigger as our temperature topic. So whenever any message is posted onto the temperature topic, our function is going to be triggered, and then we are going to check if the temperature is greater than 50. If it is greater than 50, then we are going to send command to our Raspberry Pi, that is our fan device. Then we are going to run the MQTT consumer script on the Raspberry Pi, and if this device receives the command from the cloud function, it is going to rotate the fan, that is servo motor in our case. Again, this is going to happen on device 2, that is Raspberry Pi. Then we are going to run the MQTT producer script on the Google Cloud shell machine, where we are going to randomly pass some temperature. This again is going to happen on Google Cloud shell machine, that is our device 1. Let's look at the source code files and all other files that are required for this particular demo. So first is this requirements.txt. It is having list of all the packages and the version number. So we are going to use pip install to install all these packages. So let's move to our first source code file. So this is the MQTT producer Python file, and we are going to deploy this onto the Google Cloud shell machine. So this producer is having an client, that is an MQTT client. This MQTT client is going to send the temperature data to MQTT broker of Google Cloud IoT, and that Google Cloud IoT is then going to internally send that temperature data or post that temperature data to Google Cloud's PubSub topic. So the topic that is associated with that particular registry that we are going to create. So in our case, it is going to be the temperature topic that is associated with the temperature registry. So let's look at the code now. So we are going to pass this 5 arguments. The first is the project ID, then the cloud region, then registry ID that we are going to create, then device ID that we are going to create, and the temperature data. So this temperature data, as we discussed, we are going to pass manually over here. But in my later video, I am actually going to use a Raspberry Pi connected to a temperature sensor. Now let's configure the MQTT client. So to configure the MQTT client, we need the client ID, that is projects / the project ID / locations / the cloud region / registries / the registry ID / devices / device ID. So this is going to be our entire client ID. Then we are going to use this client ID to create the MQTT client. Then for that client, we are going to set the username and password. Username we have to use as unused, and this is because although MQTT Bridge doesn't need the username, but some MQTT client libraries need the username along with the password. So we can just set username as unused over here, and the password we are going to send it as JWT, that we are going to create based on the project ID, the private key, and the name of the algorithm, that is RS256 in this case. Then we are going to set the TLS based on the root certificate and the TLS version. Then we have two callback over here, that is onConnect callback and onPublish callback. In onConnect callback, we are going to set the boolean connected to true. So initially we are going to set connected as false, and whenever the connection is made, we are going to set connected as true. The next callback is onPublish callback. OnPublish callback, we are not doing anything, we are just printing onPublish. Then our client is going to connect to mqtt.googleapis.com at port 443, where MQTT broker of Google Cloud IoT is listening. Then we are going to start the loop, and we are going to be in the loop till the connected is not set to true. That is, when the connection happens, the connected boolean will be set to true. After that, we are going to come out of this loop, and then our client is going to publish the payload. The payload in our case is going to be the temperature data to the topic. So the topic over here is /devices / device ID / events. As you can see, this is not the Google PubSub topic. Google PubSub topic is the temperature topic. So this is the MQTT topic. So what is going to happen over here is our MQTT client is going to send the temperature data to Google Cloud IoT's MQTT broker, that is this particular topic, and then Google Cloud IoT is going to internally send that temperature data to Google Cloud PubSub's topic, that is the topic associated with our registry in which this device is there. So in our case, that particular topic is the temperature topic. So now the client publishes the payload to that particular topic. Now let's move on to the consumer part. So this consumer is going to be deployed on the Raspberry Pi, and this MQTT consumer is going to listen to the messages that are posted onto the command topic. So what is this command topic? So producer, as I discussed, is going to send the data, the temperature data, onto the MQTT brokers of Google Cloud IoT. Then Google Cloud IoT is going to internally post that to the temperature topic of Google Cloud PubSub. From there is a Google Cloud function that we are going to create. That Google Cloud function is going to listen to the message on that temperature topic, and if it is greater than 50, then it is going to post that message onto the command topic of our device. So that is the command topic in this case. Let's quickly look at the code now. We are again using the MQTT client over here. Rest of the code remains the same. We are getting the argument as project ID, cloud region, registry ID, device ID. Then we are configuring the client ID. We are configuring the client based on the client ID, setting the username, password, setting the TLS. Everything remains the same as we have discussed in the producer part. Then we are going to have two callbacks over here, on message callback and on connect callback. In on message callback, what we are going to do is, once we receive the message from the Google Cloud function to run the fan, that is to rotate the servo motor, we are going to call this rotate servo from this on message callback. So the code for rotating the servo motor is this, and if you need the explanation for this particular code, you can check out my Raspberry Pi pet feeder video. So after this, we are having on connect callback is the same as the previous code. That is, we are going to set the connected boolean to true. Initially it is false. Once the connection is made, the connected will be set to true. After that, we are going to connect to mqtt.googleapis.com at port 443, where Google Cloud IoT's MQTT broker is listening. We'll start the loop. Then our client is going to subscribe to MQTT command topic. So this MQTT command topic is going to be /devices /device ID /commands. So I have already discussed what exactly is this MQTT command topic. So our client subscribes to that MQTT command topic, and the loop continues until the connected is set to true, and the connected will be set to true in this particular on connect callback. After that, our client is going to wait for the message. Once the messages are posted to MQTT command topic, we are going to receive the on message callback, and as we discussed, we are going to turn on the fan, that is rotate the servo motor. So this is the main.python file that we are going to use to create the Google Cloud function. The trigger for this Google Cloud function is going to be the temperature topic. That is, in our flow, our producer is going to produce the temperature data to MQTT broker of the Google Cloud IoT. Then Google Cloud IoT is internally going to post that data to the temperature topic, from where this particular Google Cloud function is going to be executed whenever there is any message posted to the temperature topic. So we get that data over here in this events data, the temperature data. Then we are going to use device manager client. This we are going to use to send command to our Raspberry Pi device, that is going to be the temperature fan device, to turn on the servo motor, that is to turn on the fan, okay, whenever the temperature is greater than 50. So we are going to configure the device path for our device manager client based on the project ID, the region, the temperature registry that we are going to create, and the temperature fan device, that is our Raspberry Pi. So if the temperature is greater than 50, in that case, we are going to send the command to the device, and the request is going to be, the name is the device path and the binary data is the temperature data. Let's begin with the demo. So first we are going to clone the GitHub project that I have created for this demo. So this is the GitHub project that I have created for this demo, and let's just verify it. So the G Cloud demo has been created. Let's just go inside it. And these are all the code files that we are going to need for this demo. Let's proceed to the next step now. So the next step is going to be creation of the topic. The name of the topic is temperature topic that we are going to create using the PubSub service. So the temperature topic has been created. Let's verify it in PubSub. Let me refresh this. So as you can see, temperature topic has been created. Let's move to the next step. The next step is going to be creation of the subscription for this particular topic. So here we are creating the subscription. The name of the subscription is temperature subscription, and the name of the topic for which this subscription is configured is temperature topic. So let's create it. So the temperature subscription is created now. Let's verify that. So as you can see, our temperature subscription has been created. Now next step is creating the virtual environment. So let's do that. So the virtual environment has been created. Now we will activate it. The virtual environment is activated now, as you can see over here. Now let's proceed. In the next step, we are going to install all the required packages using pip install, and all the packages are mentioned in this requirements.txt. So all the packages are installed now. All the required packages are installed. Now the next step is we are going to generate the keys. So I'll show you the file. So there is this generate keys shell script that is going to generate the keys. Let me execute the file. So let me execute the shell script. So the shell script has been executed, and it has created the key file that is you can see over here, right? All the required files have been created. Next step, we are going to download the roots file. So roots.pem has been downloaded. Now we are going to create the registries. So as you already know, I have discussed in my previous step what are the registries, what are the devices, and all those things. Next step is going to be creation of a registry. So let's do that. So here we are creating the registries using the G Cloud IoT service. Name of the registry is temperature registry. This is the project, the region in which this registry is going to be deployed, and the event notification config, that is a topic, is temperature topic. So as discussed earlier, all the devices that are part of this registry are going to post the telemetry event to this particular topic, that is a temperature topic. So let's create the registry. So the temperature registry has been created. Let's verify that. So in IoT Core, as you can see, the temperature registry has been created. Now the next step is going to be creation of the device. So this is our device number 1. So this device, as we discussed earlier, is Google Console. Okay, so this is the device number 1 that we are going to create and register it with this particular registry. So let's do that. So here we are creating the device again using the G Cloud IoT service. The temperature sensor device is the name of this device. We are providing the project, the region. Registry is very important over here because we are registering this device as a part of temperature registry, and the public key is basically the key that we created in the previous step. Okay, so let's create the device. So the device 1 has been configured now. Now what we need to do is we need to configure the device 2. So device 2 in our case is Raspberry Pi. So I have already connected to Raspberry Pi using putty. So let's configure Raspberry Pi now. Again, many of the steps are going to be the same. So first we need to clone the project as we did earlier. So we are going to clone the GitHub project gcloud demo. So the project has been cloned. Let's just verify that. As you can see, gcloud-demo is the project. Let's go inside this project. And these are all the required files. Okay. Now again we are going to create a virtual environment over here. We'll activate this environment. So the virtual environment has been activated. Now we are going to install the required packages. So all the required packages are installed now. Next step is we are going to create the keys. Let's just verify if everything has been created. Yes, all the required keys has been created. We are going to get the root key. So here we got the root certificate. Now let's move on to the next step. So for now, whatever configurations were needed we have created on Raspberry Pi. Now we are going to create the device, this Raspberry Pi device, onto the Google Cloud. We can do it from Raspberry Pi, but we need to have the SDK. I have not installed that SDK, so I'm just going to go to the Google Cloud console to create this device. So this is our Google Cloud console. So I'm going to use this to create the second device as well. The only thing that we need to change is this particular certificate. So for now, I'll allow this authentication to be created, but then I'm going to copy the public key that we have created on Raspberry Pi. Okay. So here again, we are creating the IoT device using the IoT service. The name of this device is temperature fan device. Project region registry is the same, and then the public key. Okay. So let's just create the device. So the temperature fan device has been created. Let's verify it. If I go to the devices over here, as you can see, the temperature fan device has been created. Now, as I said, we need to change the authentication, because the authentication that is created over here will be for the device one, since we have executed the command from that particular folder. So we need to change that. What we need to do over here is we need to go to our Raspberry Pi. So on the Raspberry Pi, we need to copy the public key that we have created. So let's just do cat first. So we need to copy this. We need to go to the authentication key and paste it over here. So we have updated the key now. So this is the proper key that we have created for our Raspberry Pi fan device. So now we need to create the Google Cloud function. As I have already discussed, this Google Cloud function is going to be triggered whenever there is any message that is going to be posted on temperature topic. So as soon as the message is posted, this function will be triggered. This function will check if the temperature is greater than 50. If the temperature is greater than 50, then it is going to send command to the fan device. So here we are creating the Google Cloud function by the name subscribe, and we are deploying it. As you can see, the trigger topic over here is temperature topic. So the Google Cloud function has been created. Let's verify in the console. So yes, the subscribe function has been created. Let's execute the demo now. So first we are going to start the consumer. So let's do that. So this is the consumer, the code I have already explained previously. It is going to accept the project ID, the cloud region, the registry that we have created is temperature registry, and the device that we have created is a temperature fan device. So this temperature fan device is basically this Raspberry Pi. So consumer is ready and it is ready to accept the messages. So now let's start the producer. So this producer, again this code I have explained previously, this producer is going to accept project ID, cloud region, registry ID is temperature registry. It is going to be part of the same registry as the fan device, and the device ID over here is temperature sensor device, and the temperature that we are passing over here is 80. So we are manually passing the temperature as 80 over here, so that it should send the command to our fan device and start the servo motor to turn the fan. So let's do that. As you will see, the servo motor is running, right? And we have already received a message over here saying that the received message is 80. Now let's change this maybe to 49. So as you see, there is no message received, right? Because the value is 49 over here, and in our Google Cloud function, we have said that if only the value is above 50, we are going to send the command to the fan device, right? Now if I change this value to 51, you will see that the servo motor rotates and my consumer has received the message. Maybe we will try for one more value just to test it again. Say I'll say 85, and you will see the servo motor is rotating, right? And we have received the message as 85 over here.